Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at something pretty significant shaping up for homeschooling families, specifically in South Carolina.
That's right. We're talking about SC Homeschool IB Radio.
Yeah, they sound like a key online spot for homeschoolers there. They've just announced this 2-year plan.
A plan to roll out extracurricular enrichment programs.
Exactly. So if you're homeschooling in the Palmetto State, listen up. We're going to try and unpack what this could mean for you and your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Our mission today really is just to cut through the announcement and pull out the key details. You know, what's coming, why it matters.
And it really does matter. What's interesting is how coordinated this effort seems. It's tackling that challenge many homeschool families face, right? Finding those well-rounded extracurriculars.
Right. The kinds of things traditional schools often have built in.
Yeah, instead of every family kind of patching things together on their own, this looks like an attempt to build something more, centralized.
Okay, let's dig into that. The radio station, SC Homeschool IB Radio, they're saying the core idea is access.
Access, yeah.
Giving homeschool students the same kinds of opportunities, sports, arts, different clubs, and importantly, leadership stuff.
And we know these aren't just like optional fun things. They're pretty crucial for development.
Totally. Finding passions, learning teamwork, building confidence, grit even. Perseverance.
Exactly. It links back to that bigger picture of youth development. These activities, they foster social skills, emotional growth, things you don't always get just from textbooks.
Think about being in a play or maybe a debate club.
Or a sports team. Collaboration, strategic thinking, it all adds up. It contributes hugely to, the whole child.
So here's where it gets specific. They've laid out 5 key areas they want to build programs in. And it looks like they're mirroring what you typically see in, say, public middle or high schools.
Okay, what are they?
First up, performing arts. So music, drama, that sort of thing.
Makes sense.
Then JROTC, which is explicitly about leadership training.
Ah, interesting they included that specifically. Not always the first thing people think of for homeschool groups.
Right. Then, of course, sports and athletics. That's a big one. 4th is academic clubs, chess, Science Olympiad. Who knows what else they have planned?
Covering those intellectual interests outside the main curriculum? Good.
And finally, number 5 is student leadership and civic activities. Things like maybe a student council equivalent or maybe chapters of groups like FFA or 4-H.
Wow, that's quite comprehensive. By covering those bases, they really are aiming for a broad appeal. It caters to a lot of different interests and talents.
It seems like it. And the way they're planning to do it, the rollout, it feels quite deliberate.
How so?
It's gradual over 2 years. They explicitly said they want to pilot things first.
Ah, okay. Test the waters.
Yeah, learn from those initial groups, see what works, what doesn't, and then expand things in a way that's sustainable, not just trying to launch everything big bang.
That sounds smart. It suggests they're focused on quality, not just quantity, right? Building programs that can actually last.
You'd hope so. It allows them to be flexible, tweak things.
And build a solid foundation for each area before they, scale it up. You mentioned partnerships earlier, or maybe you didn't, but I wonder how they're planning to actually run these things. Finding coaches, instructors, venues.
That is a key question, and the announcement touches on SC Homeschool IB Radio's role. They see themselves as the facilitator, the hub.
Okay.
They plan to use their platform, the online radio, their social media presence to connect everyone, get the word out, help organize, empower the community.
So leverage their existing network.
Exactly. Become the sort of go-to place if you're looking for these kinds of homeschool extracurriculars in South Carolina.
That makes a lot of sense. Using their communication channels to build momentum and create a community around these new opportunities.
So for you, the listener, what's the bottom line here? If you're homeschooling in SC, the aim of this whole initiative is pretty clear.
Yeah.
Make a wider range of these enrichment activities much easier to find and access.
Yeah, potentially taking some of the burden off individual parents who are trying to find or even create these things themselves.
Could streamline things quite a bit.
Definitely. It could mean more options, maybe more diverse options, and more chances for homeschool kids to connect with other kids who share their interests.
So the key takeaway is really this. Over the next couple of years, keep an eye out. Homeschool families in South Carolina should expect to see more opportunities popping up across these 5 areas: performing arts, JROTC leadership, sports, academic clubs, and civic stuff.
It really feels like a potentially significant step in broadening what's available for homeschoolers in the state, offering some of those, traditional school type benefits, but within the homeschooling context.
Right. So here's a final thought to leave you with. As these programs start to take shape, which of these areas, arts, leadership, sports, academics, civics, do you think might be the best fit for your own kids? What might they be most excited to try?
Good question to ponder. Thinking ahead about their interests.
Definitely worth considering. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.